Hello, hello. I am so excited. Today is Saturday, July 31st, 2021. Again, welcome to Keeping It Real Conversations with Sunshine. I am your host, Camila, aka Sunshine. If you have not subscribed to the YouTube channel, please do so. Like and share. Keeping It Real Conversations with Sunshine. I am also on Spotify. Same name of the show. Also, it is on grooveradiodetroit.com, and that's the radio station it is on as well. Since the show has begun, I believe in 6 degrees of separation. You're one person away, one advice away, one help away from where you need to be in your destiny. And it has been proven over and over again since the show has started. Today, I have some great guests coming on today, and I'm super excited about that. I have 3 shows today, one at 1, one at 2, and one at 7 o'clock tonight. One, I have a gospel artist, Latice Crawford, will be on at 1. My friend, my dear friend from middle school, Dwayne Childress, will be on at 2 o'clock. And then this evening, I have Miss Courtney Moore will be on at 7. So I'm so excited to be able to talk. As you know, I had been gone for like 2 weeks, some personal time, vacation time, and I truly, truly enjoyed it. I had a show on yesterday with John Harvey, aka High Octane from N1, and it was a great conversation. So I'm just waiting on our guests to arrive so we can get started on the show. I hope you guys are enjoying this. It finally cooled off here in Detroit, so because it had been hot. So I hope you guys are out and about enjoying this cool weather before it heats up again or rain. Um, and so I am grateful on today that definitely I'm in the land of the living and I am in good health. I also want to, while I have this time, to send condolences to Mary, um, who she's laying her son to rest today. Jonathan Grimmett, who is my nephew, he passed away, and they're having a funeral in Alabama. And so I want to make sure that I send condolences to her and her family. Hello.
Hey, how you doing?
I am great. How are you?
I'm good. I won't complain.
There's no sense of it.
It don't change nothing.
Absolutely nothing. So I've already did my intro to the show, and I usually tell the people how I know the person. Now, of course, I have never in person met you, but I definitely know your voice when I hear it. For everybody who does not know, this is Latice Crawford. So everybody, welcome her to the show,
Thank you.
and for her to come and talk with us. Now, the first time that I've actually heard your name, of course, was associated with Sunday's Best.
Yeah.
And I watched this season. What actually season were you on?
I was on season 2.
Okay, season 2. So you was way in the beginning.
Yeah, it was about 12 years ago at this point, going on 13. Yeah, 2009.
Wow. That
Yeah.
seemed like it was yesterday.
Right? I know, and I think that's what people have the hard time seeing, when you grow as an artist or, you start to mature or change or new things happen, they're still stuck on like, well, why is she doing that? And it's like that was 12 years ago.
I would have never thought that at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I was when I was listening, what made me want to talk to you was I saw the clip on the award show. I was watching TikTok, which I do a lot, and you were singing "Holy,"
Holy is the Lamb, yeah.
and I kid you not, and I'm not saying it because you're on the show. I literally cried every time I listened to it. And I felt you, even though it was a short clip of the song, I was gone. I was done for. Like I could have laid out on the floor. And I was like, I want to talk to her because some people, as artists, as singers, we have to go to a certain place to be able to minister.
Yeah.
And in that short moment, you minister to those people in that audience and all over the world. As you can see, that clip has been shared so many times.
Yes, it's the click that keeps on ticking. Like the clip, excuse me, that keeps on ticking. It just will not die.
And it won't. If they never heard of you before, trust me, they're going to find, where can I get this voice? Where can I support this anointing? Because everybody doesn't have it.
Wow. Thank
So
you.
where in that moment, where were you? Like mentally, where were you?
I will say anytime, I sing a song, I always try to make sure that I find myself in it. Like what moment was it that I felt this particular message, So to be singing a song, like Holy is the Lamb, to be honest with you, when I went and told me I was doing the tribute for Olita Adams was going to be a part of that tribute, I really honestly thought that they would give me the song. Like, I don't care how they get there. You think of all the songs that fit with your voice. And I'm like, oh, the tone, everything about that song, it's great. They had originally given me up-tempo song, Circle of One. That was the song that I originally had. And then at some point in time, it just switched to Holy as the Lamb. And when I got there, I still didn't really know what to do with it. The song was still a little up-tempo. And I was like, how do I fit me? Like, again, how do I have that moment in the song where it resonates, and it really hits home? And so, I just started to think about those moments, where he was holy and gracious and kind and merciful and forgiving and all of these different things to me. And when you get to thinking, you know what I mean? And you start having these flashbacks of these moments, and it just gets good to you. And so I think that's really what it was. It's always, you want to make sure that the person you're tributing is feels honored, you know what I mean, and
Yes.
feels like you've done justice to their song. But I think the most authentic way for me to do that is to always make sure I find the truth of myself in a song or in a particular lyric.
Like I said, I was blown away. I had to show when I said that you were coming on the show, and they was like, "Who is that?" I said, "Hold on, I'm not even gonna try to explain anything to you. I'm just gonna play this clip, and you'll understand why I reached out to her." And but kid you not, every time they was like, "Oh my God, who is she? Who is she? What's her name again?" And they went to Apple, like, let me find every music that she has ever put out. To honey. Honey, that's all I'm gonna say. Also, your publicist has sent some information about your new album, The Cure. And I was getting ready today, and I'm like, I never know until I show up to the show what I'm gonna say, what I'm gonna ask. I do not know. And I was in the bathroom getting ready, and I played the song The Cure.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to put on makeup, and my eyes. I said, we can't do this. Something here has to give. Now, is it gonna be the music or this makeup? One of the two, because it can't mix right now. And so I'm all tearing up, trying to put on mascara. And I'm like, oh, this is not gonna work. This is not gonna be good for me. And so I'm listening to the song, and I saw myself in this song. And for those who don't know, like I said, Latice has a new album out, The Cure, and you guys have to get it.
Peace.
And I played the song The Cure, and it went into this moment where we're talking about, I took pills.
Mm-hmm.
I did every sort of thing to try to heal myself.
Yeah.
And nothing worked.
Yeah.
Until I came to basically the knowledge of only God can do it, only God can fix it. I want that cure. I said, my God, I already know now which direction I'm going to. So for you, did you actually write that song?
I did.
Tell me, how did you come up with that?
Funny enough for me, that song wasn't really about me trying to necessarily heal myself. It was me being willing to continue to self-sabotage and let other people sabotage because I knew if I did heal, it meant I would have to change. It meant I would have to be better, And so for me, that song definitely was about a number of things. And I think it continues to mature into new things for me. But at that moment when I was writing it, I'll never forget, I was at my friend's house and, I'm sitting there and I'm thinking about, this somewhat love of my life, and how I'm terrified of what his love does and what it means. It's like, man, now I know I gotta be better. You know what I mean? I gotta fix all these things about myself to not fit into it, but to even be ready for what I'm feeling, and ready for what he could possibly give. You know what I mean? Like you can't walk into this feeling and this love being who you are. You have to grow, you have to mature, you have to be willing to change. And it was like, I'm not ready. So, I've been popping pills for it's far too long. Not talking about all the time, I'm talking about all the temporary fixes that I use sometimes because I don't trust you to fix it. But it was very metaphoric for me about how my relationship with God is. Like, God, I'm not really ready. I keep saying, God, give me this and do this for me and heal me and fix me. But am I really ready for what that looks like? It's like a lot of times we're asking for freedom, but are you ready for the price of freedom? Are you ready for the price of healing? Are you ready to have to treat people better, to have to look and assess yourself? And that's, what it was talking about. And finally, at the end of it, it was like, you know what? I'm so sick because of all this other stuff I'm taking. Like, I have to let it go. I am ready, for everything that I want, everything I've been asking for, all of my prayers, all of this, all of that. I'm ready for it. Bring it down, Lord. Okay, I'm ready, and I'm ready to do the work that is gonna take to get to the cure. My mom was fighting cancer at that time. I had just lost my dad 2 years before. And she was fighting cancer, and I'm watching her literally fight for a cure, not a pill. She was taking radiation, and radiation kind of maintained. My dad had passed away from complications with diabetes and kidney failure and stuff. And I watched him take dialysis for years, and it just maintained it. It didn't cure it. But
Yeah.
watching her fight for the cure and the pain that she had to go through for the cure, and having to trust, that sometimes the cure God has for us is not always here. It was the first time in my life I had to trust the gain of heaven and the promise of death. The gain of death and the promise of heaven. You know what I mean? It was the first time I had to really lean on him and depend on whatever his cure was. So, like I said, it was a lot of things for me. And then even after, with her passing last March, had to again, fight through all of this stuff and just trust that whatever it was that he was giving was the cure that I needed, for me. So like I said, it was a lot. It was a lot of stuff that was going through my mind and happening at that particular time in my life as to why the lyrics, feel that way.
It's a truth, and I had tell all my guests that I'm interested not just because of how I know you, but I'm interested in the whole person. So of course I know you from music as far as that is concerned, but you just hit on a lot of things that was personal to me that is similar to your story. No, my mom didn't have cancer, but my father was a kidney patient for 18 years until the Lord took him. And at the last 3 or 4 years, he didn't have kidneys at all, which was unheard of. And so, you're going through dying on the table several times, having multiple surgeries. And I was like, this man got to be Superman. How is he,
I'm telling you,
how he going through all of this stuff? And most dialysis patients don't live that long. And so, you hopeful for the cure, but he did get a cure, and as you said, through death to be, heaven bound. And so it was like, even though in the moment you're never ready for death, I don't care how they're sick, and then when you get the call or it happens right in front of you, you're still not ready. And listening to the song, it was therapeutic for me. No, I was suicidal, not just because of that, but other traumatic things in life. And I was tired, where you have to be honest with yourself of where you truly are, not only with yourself, but with God. Like, do you really trust me? Do you really, are you doing all of these things? Like, I will tell people, and to be honest, it wasn't just, a pill for me. My drug of choice was sex.
Wow.
So I felt like, oh, you feeling good? This should be the end of it.
Yeah.
No, it makes it worse because now you're bringing in other spirits
Yep.
from other people.
Yep. Yep. And
So
attachments,
just give it up.
unnecessary attachments, to people that you're not supposed to be attached to. They're not a part of your life, so you make them a part of your moment just so you can get by, just so you can get through. I mean, we can all say, even like, we're all church people and we're all believers and everything, but I think all of us have a pill, and that's what I really wanted for the song to convey, that, this pill, I'm not talking about an
The
actual pill.
actual
If
pill.
pills were your stronghold, then, okay. But it was just like, whatever it is that you have an addiction to, or that you idolize over God, or that you prioritize over him, those are all the things, you know what I mean? All of the temporary fixes, the things that fill us. I remember I struggle really badly with GERD. And I remember one night, I decided to eat some buffalo wings. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna cook some buffalo wings. I'm making extra spicy because I knew that I had the pills, that the doctors prescribed to me. So it was like, I'm not going to feel it like that. So I can eat this. I can maintain this stuff that I want. And I'll just go grab a pill. I ate the food. I'm burning. I go get the pills out my bag and it's empty. And I'm like, it's 12, 1 o'clock in the morning. I can't call my doctor. I can't, there's nothing I could do. So I had to sit through a whole night of just burning. And I mean, it gets so bad for me. Sometimes it goes into my lungs and I get like this exasperated pneumonia and all kinds of stuff. Like, why would I be willing to put my body through that for some buffalo wings? Because the moment just feels good. And it's like, I like the taste of it. So the next day I get up, I go to my doctor and I'm like, hey, I need an emergency prescription. And they're just like, there's a really great way that you can heal, this thing. And I'm like, well, what is it? And they're like, just stop eating the stuff you're eating.
Right.
Like, it's just that simple. And the way that I took that and just started applying that to my regular everyday life. Like, I don't have to feel this stuff that I'm feeling if I just stop eating what I've been eating, change my people diet, change my spiritual diet, change, all this stuff and I know it's not as simple, as we want it to be, but it is. It's like, just think about how things are going to feel later on instead of being so stuck in this moment right now. Just, I really want to feel this right now. But what are you going to feel later? Think about that. Think forward, and not right now. And so that's, kind of like I said, all of these songs, were very, literal, to what I was dealing with in life at the time. Like, I was trying to wean myself off of these pills. And it wasn't that I was addicted to it, but I was addicted to the fact that I didn't have to feel anything if I took it. If I take this, all of this stuff I'm eating and intaking, it don't matter. I won't feel it. It's bad for me, but I won't feel it, even though it's still messing up the insides of my body. And I think that's sometimes what we do, like you said, with sex or with this or with that or relationships or whatever it is, because we numb ourselves. We like, I don't feel it. And I'll just get another pill, another fix. And I know I'm damaging myself. I know I'm leaving myself susceptible to diseases and all kinds of crazy stuff. But as long as I don't feel it, I won't heal it. You know what I mean?
That right there is probably 90% of our testimony. Like, really, is that simple of just stop. Like, really. Binge eating. Out at one point I was over 300 something pounds because I was just eating in the middle of the night Fruit Loops and all of this stuff, just junk, because I didn't know how to deal with the pain.
Yep.
Whatever that was. And so I'm listening to The Cure and I'm like, man, I gotta blast this out because this is it right here. This is a personal conversation. As the Bible say, cast all your cares on me. We ain't trying to do all that. We like, look, I'm Superwoman, I'm Wonder Woman, I'm this, I can handle it. God like, no, you can't.
You can't.
No, you can't. And so just listening to this, and also I want to say to you, I love your boldness, even how you look, your fierceness. You know how sometimes they say that Hollywood and all of these make you do certain things to yourself to be the photo type, as they say. I've heard Kelly Price say they wanted her to lose weight and all of these different things. And when I look at you, it's I can see myself. Like, there was a moment maybe I wasn't so confident in myself. Now it's like I don't care what you think. This is how
Right.
I feel. If I want to cut my hair off, so be it.
Yeah.
It'll grow back. I have looked at your fashion sense. You know, I follow you on TikTok, and I'm so in awe of you. Like, I don't know your story. I'm listening to the lyrics of your songs. I don't know if this was just lyrical. I can't remember what song it was I was listening to, and you talked about how there was moments where you had to eat out of the trash,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I'm like,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
And so I was like, I don't know if people really, I'm a music person, and to hear somebody be honest and transparent, this is what my show is about, being real. This is what it is. And so in that moment of, I've never been there. So what was that moment like of losing everything and had to like eat out of the trash can to feed your, was it your son?
Well, I wasn't, thankfully enough, I wasn't having to feed him out of it. I was
Uh-huh.
feeding myself out of it. He had the good stuff, but what was left, it
Uh-huh.
wasn't enough, and a lot of time, one, I'll say this, that any lyric that you ever hear me write or hear from my own project is something I lived. I have a hard time just writing songs because they feel good, or because I want to sell, you know what I mean? It's
Uh-huh.
like, I live this stuff. So anything that I'm saying to you, know that I have went through the experience, and that's why I know you can overcome it, because I have.
Uh-huh.
Um, but that was a very low moment, because it wasn't so much that I had to, because of my own circumstances, I had to. But I had so many people that I could have reached out to, and I could have said, hey, I'm having a hard time. Can you help me out? But my own pride, I guess, wouldn't let me do it. I was like, I'm just gonna struggle, and I'm gonna, But I think that speaks to how we were raised,
Uh-huh.
what we believe, as far as religion. Sometimes we sitting there waiting for God to perform a miracle, when He's like, but you have a cousin or a sister or a brother or this person or that person that you can reach out to, and I can work through them, what I mean, to bless you. But we sit and we wait for the magical, moment,
Uh-huh.
for heaven to part and for him to send something. My father used to always tell this, not a joke, but like this kind of parable, I guess, when he'd be in church, and he'd say there was a guy who, was in a flood and he was about to drown, and he was praying, God, if you could just rescue me. And God sent a car. And he was like, no, 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 it's okay. I'm waiting for the Lord. All right, God sent a boat. No, 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 no. I'm waiting for the Lord. The water gets high, starts getting over him. A plane comes. No, no, no. I'm waiting for the Lord. He dies. He goes to heaven. And he's like, God, what happened? I was waiting for you. And God is like, I sent a car. I sent a boat. I sent a plane. And he's like, oh, sometimes we miss, what God has around. And I think at that time, yes, I needed to go through that so I could trust in God and really see Him. But God was like, you made it harder on yourself, because you could have trusted me through the love of other people. I worked through them too. And what the lesson He was trying to more so teach me was, don't isolate, don't sit in it by yourself. I think the enemy, he likes for us to isolate, because he knows
Uh-huh.
we can't really find healing there. Then we're upset with God. Why wouldn't you have helped me? Why wouldn't you have, you know, um, and so that's what I think that moment was for me, and I learned a very valuable lesson in that. And now, when I see myself struggling or I need help with anything, I'm quicker to ask. I don't take advantage of, but I am quicker to say, hey, because I'm always the help. So it's like, why can't you be helped? You know what I mean?
Right, right, right.
Yeah, that was definitely a lesson in my brokenness, for me to realize that the way I was raised to just go through storms, where God was like, there's some storms you don't have to go through. There's some you could just sit and wait it out until it passes. You know what I mean? But I think we're so ready to be like, nope, I'm about to fight through it. And He's like, you don't really have to. And that was
Like
the
you
lesson
said
for me.
before, it was pride. Now it's more so, um as we say, the maturity level
Yep,
of, I don't want to go through this no more.
yep,
And now when you see it happening or it's about to happen, it's like, I'm gonna raise my hand
yep,
before it even gets here,
yep,
because I
yep,
already know what's going to happen if I don't.
yep,
So, and that goes with any relationship. When you've been through divorce, bad relationships, when you see it coming in, when it starts turning to being, it's like, okay, God, for one, let me get on my knees before I
yeah,
start talking.
Yep.
What is the lessons that we had to learn? And even in that, now is God is really showing forth like favor and blessings.
Mm.
You're crazy if you just gonna sit there and just be overtaken
Yeah.
and overwhelmed.
Yeah.
No, 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 no. I done cried enough tears for this.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Exactly.
so
Exactly.
what does as we said, I was asking some of my other guests, what is it like being the mother, the singer, the writer? What is Latice like on a daily day basis?
On a regular day, I'm probably in my kitchen, cooking. I love to cook. I'm probably doing that. I might be, singing or something around the house or playing with my son. I take my son out on a lot of like self-care days. So it's a lot of times I'm just like, hey, get up, come on, let's get dressed. We're gonna go to the mall, get your massage and get this stuff because I'm really trying to, create in him early, that it's okay for a man to express how he feels. You know what I mean? It's okay for a man to say or have a preference. I think sometimes as women we're like, well, we have preferences in the guys we want, and we get to choose and be like, no, I don't really like him because he don't do this or he don't make enough. But when a guy does that, it's like, oh, they're toxic because they don't want me. You know what I mean? And I'm trying to teach him early that it's okay, for you to have a preference and to not want certain things, but to also, reserve time for yourself and take care of you and feel what you feel. You know what I mean? So I do a lot of that stuff with him. I'll go to the park and we'll play catch or, try to play basketball. I don't claim to try to at all be any kind of sports related type of person, but, I have a son. So a lot of times, he's not even necessarily into a lot of that stuff. He likes to build and he likes to research and do different things. So we'll go on nature walks and look and find different things. He likes a lot of rocks and, to find out what's in them and stuff like that. So on a regular day, I'm usually with my son or like I said, in the kitchen or reading or, listening. I don't really watch a lot of TV. So if I'm, reading a book or, doing some scriptures or whatever it is, I'm kind of boring, honestly.
Sometimes, as we say, with learning and evolving is the best thing. I would say there was a moment where I didn't like mirrors because I didn't like what I saw. And I definitely didn't wear makeup. I didn't do none of that stuff. And then all of a sudden, one day, after the control was done, after you find yourself once again, it was like, I'm about to love me as hard as I can.
Right.
And it was okay. Now I'm wearing makeup. I'm playing in makeup. I'm wearing dresses. I'm doing what feels good to me now. And so the kitchen is not my area. I can tell you that now. I don't think that ever be with my my area. But however, whatever that is, singing, writing, like I say, I am in awe of you. I was watching one TikTok. I think you were tearing or ripping some blue jeans, making
Yeah,
a outfit.
I have another one on today.
And so I was like, oh, that's different. And so now, how did the pandemic affect you? Did that come with all the art and fashion? Did that come through those periods?
No, not really. I think I've always, I don't really consider myself to be a fashionable person. I like what I like and I wear what I like, and it's like, if you like it too, great. If not, doesn't matter because you don't have it on. I do. You know what I mean? So
Right.
it wasn't really about confidence or anything like that. It was really just about, being a kid who was a church kid. So I didn't have a whole lot of outside friends. Most of my friends were in church. My sisters and I, we kind of were, my parents didn't keep us secluded. It was just more so that when we went to school, we were in church. We were, we're apostolic, so we were in church all the time. So when we went to school and our friends were talking about shows, talking about stuff, we was like, we ain't seen TJ on Friday because we've been in church all day on Friday. You know what I mean? So we didn't know. So I
Right.
think the creativity and stuff kind of came from there, and just started doing stuff, making stuff. The pandemic, however, was really different for me because I was learning a new normal in a new normal. My mom was up here with me, when her and my dad, we all lived together. And when he passed, I was taking care of her. And then she got sick, a few months after he passed. And so literally, my life shifted there. She passed a week before the pandemic hit. So we had our funeral and then I immediately went into quarantine and that was the new normal. So now I'm grieving stuck in the house. I'm not on the road. I'm now a homeschool teacher. All of these things were so new and so different. So, it was for me a time to just kind of sit and breathe and learn what that was. What does it look like without her? What does it look like if this is what the normal is, from now on? What does it look like if, music doesn't pick back up because we're in this, pandemic? What things do I have that are sure? What things do I have, that I really want to pay attention to and value? And I think for me, it just really taught me that there are so many things that I could live without one, and how fragile life is, that something can be taken away from you at any moment. What is important? What do you really value? And how are you living? I spent a lot of time existing and being in survival mode. And so now, it's like, no, I'm going to live and I'm going to make those choices for myself that other people probably won't like, but they're probably the people who are trying to keep me broken because my brokenness, it serves them in some kind of way. So
Mhm.
let me see who's mad when I say no. Let me see who's
Yeah.
mad when I say, no, I'm good. And so I learned who I was at home without all the extra wonderful
Yes.
things and the people around me. And I think it was a great experience for me. I don't, in some ways I want to come out, but in other ways I'm like, leave me here. Just leave me here.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, because this is virtual, a lot of people are saying yes when they might have said no before. And so this is their way of telling their story. And this is very important that everybody has a story to tell.
Mhm.
I'm like the cousin, the sister, I'm on my couch, you're where you are. And it's nothing to be scared about. It's nothing to be apprehensive about. It's just, okay, we're just talking. That's it. It's like the girlfriend or something, like, okay, we just met each other for the first time, but it doesn't feel that way. But guess
Yeah.
what? At the end of the day, we're just alike. We
Yeah.
really are. And
Yeah.
so the other thing that I wanted to touch on, I had one of the athletes on yesterday, and we talked about Simone Biles. Are you familiar with her? Okay.
Yeah.
How she took a mental day, a
Yeah.
mental time away from the Olympics, and how some people were so upset that she did that. And so me and the guy, John Harvey, talked about it yesterday, and I said, well, they're going to talk about you regardless. If you win, if you lose, they're going to talk. And at the end of the day, if she had not, and she knew personally where she was mentally, she might have affected the team in the negative versus being an adult and mature about it and say, you know what, I'm not there and I will hinder this team if I stay. And
Yeah.
so I knew looking at some of your things that you were talking about, the importance of mental health. Um, can we talk about that?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm a life coach, in addition to singing, and not, just a cliche like, oh yeah, you're gonna be great and everything's gonna be wonderful. No, I've actually went and got certified in cognitive behavioral therapy, neurolinguistic programming, psychology, ecology, emotional intelligence, all these things, because I didn't just want to just be the regular life coach that didn't even really understand what you were dealing with, psychologically and emotionally. I wanted to really understand what is a person thinking about and how do we change that around. I will say this. I think that anytime someone in the industry, in the entertainment industry in any form, just needs a day off, we very quickly blame it on mental health. And sometimes it's not. Mental health is a very specific thing. You know what I mean? And sometimes it's not mental health. It's the same way that a person at a regular job will wake up sometimes and say, you know what? I don't feel right today. I'm tired. I'm going to take a sick day. You guys get that stuff. We don't. We don't get mental health. We're somewhat looked at as superheroes, in some forms of the way, or superhuman, should I say, that when we need a day, just because we don't feel like it or just don't feel right, it's not always because we're going through something mental or like we just, oh my God, what's happening to her? She needed a mental health day. I think we put that on people the same way we put toxicity and, all kinds of stuff on people all the time. She needed a day off because her body wasn't working with her and she just felt off. You know what I mean? And it's like we are entitled to that without critique and criticism and without people thinking that we are having some kind of psychological meltdown. You know what I mean? I deal with that a lot um, in this industry, that when I say I just don't want to do something or I can't do something, you know what I mean? You either get labeled difficult or you get labeled, like, oh, I guess, she's going through something. And it's like, no, I just don't want to. And my answer is no, with no reason, no excuse, no excusal, just no. That's what it is. And I'm not losing my mind, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because I said no. And so, I feel for her, but I'm happy that she is one of those people that's strong enough to say, I don't really care what y'all think. And y'all can label it whatever you want. I'm taking this day off and there's nothing you can do about it because I get to say that I want to. So
Right.
I am happy that she did that, and that she's standing by it and standing her ground, and not trying to make it bigger than what it is, but just saying I didn't feel right, and so I said no. You know,
I told people don't realize too, her brother um just was acquitted of like a triple homicide case
wow, wow,
in June of this
wow,
year.
wow.
So we don't know mentally what that took, for one. And then she's the GOAT of gymnastics right now. There's nobody has done what she's done
Yeah,
on any level. And so for her to deal with that mentally, still have to go through, because with that was a year round thing. That's not just because of the Olympics. This is year round that she does this. And she's been doing the Olympics since she was young. The girl outside of gymnastics, I mean, can we have a life? Can we,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, this is a lot on her. And so I was like, I commend her for doing that. Um, Not out of just anything, but yourself. And that's where we as people get in trouble of not being honest with ourselves and letting other
yeah,
people control us.
yep, yeah,
When you get in a space where you have been controlled for a long time, and when you have a taste of what freedom feels like, I
yeah,
refuse
yeah,
to let anybody control me again.
absolutely, yeah,
And so I'm looking and I'm listening to, every song that you have made. And I think I inboxed you and said, your songs is really delivering me, because
wow,
those are some things and lyrics that I have said or wanted to say,
wow,
personally, to the world as well as God himself, of, I need you, because me being me, I'm going to jack it up. Because I think I'm big and bad to do that. You know what I'm saying? And you get tired of having the same, results because you keep doing it your way. And that's
yeah,
not what God wants. God wants you to trust him in all your ways, acknowledge him, right? That's how I go. But as humans, we be like, okay, God, you fixed it a little bit. Okay, let me do the rest. And he like, no.
right. He's like, no, let me do all of it. Yeah.
We be trying to cheat, like, no, okay, God, you got me out of the pit hole this time. Let
Yep,
let me avoid this, but let me go forward, and then you hit right back into another pitfall. I'm like,
yep.
I'm
It's
just gonna do
true.
it your way. Just chill out. That's
You know,
that's what I'm
it's
gonna do.
true. It's true. I mean, I'm glad, that the music is resonating. That's what I wanted, I wanted for it to feel almost like a Google search, when you're dealing with something or you're going through something and you're like, oh, let me Google this and see what it is. Dr. Google answers all questions. So you Google it and then you realize like, oh, this somebody else had these symptoms. Okay, let me see what they did. Let me see what they used as a solution. That's what I wanted for this music to be. I wanted it to feel like a Google search for people to go to it and say, wow, I have those same symptoms. Oh, wow, I took those same pills. What did she use to get over it? And for them to see what my cure is. And for me, my cure is God. And he is the curer of all things. So anything that I need, to be cured from, whether it's love or sickness or, poor mental and emotional health, whatever it is, you can find it all in him. And so I wanted for people to see just the journey of the different experiences that we go through as humans and, specifically women, just the things that we go through every day of our lives that we're asking for God to heal, we're asking for him to see and cover and relieve us from. I really wanted for people to be able to, like I said, see that it's not just one thing, but it's all things that we need him in and that we have to access through him, so I am really happy that it's resonating to you, and reaching, to you and so many others in that way, because that was definitely my intent. Like I said, it was, you always want to sell, especially if you're on a label, you have to sell records, it's the business of it all, it is a business, but the ministry part of it for me was just making sure that when people heard it, that they weren't just like, oh, this is a good project, because they could bop to it, but that lyrically it convicts something in them to say, wait a minute, I didn't realize that I needed it, but I realize it now, and so, the music had to convict me first, so sorry about that.
It's okay.
But yeah, I definitely needed for it to convict me first, and that's why it took so long for me to just throw it out there. I wanted to make sure that everything I was saying, everything I was singing, that I was through it, or at least trying to get through it. You know what I mean? I think a lot of times we sing at people, or we write lyrics at people as believers, like, you should be doing this, but it's like, did you go through the process? Did you do it? And so I wanted to make sure that I was using the tools and going through, the steps of it, to be able to, put it out and reach other people as well.
So was The Cure written in the process of both your parents passing, or was this after?
The Cure was definitely written through that process. So we're talking about now maybe 3 years in total. Like, so my mom's been gone for about a year and a half. My dad's been gone for about 3 years. I started writing. The thing was, this was never intended to be a project. I keep saying this was the most unintentional, intentional project I've ever done. It was unintentional, meaning in the sense that it was ever supposed to be for everybody else, but it was intentional in the sense that everything I wrote, it was a specific reason and meaning for it. But these songs were bullet points for me to process, what I was dealing with. These songs were written probably over a 5-year time span.
Okay.
And so they were like literally the experiences that would happen in the moment. Like, something would happen and I would come back and I would write the song. You know what I mean? Like, it would almost happen in the moment and I would go, I have the lyrics, to a song. It wasn't, I don't even think I sat and tried to make it rhyme or do anything. It literally was just like me having a conversation or a prayer. Like, I remember even writing Amazing. And that's what it was. It was like me talking to God. It's getting tight in this space. I put my own self in. You had other plans for me, but I didn't trust them. And it was like, in and them don't really rhyme, but some kind of way, because it was what I was saying in the moment, it made sense because it was true and honest to what was happening. You know what I mean? Like I said, but and even for that song, I think a lot of people get out of it that I was talking about me feeling insecure or feeling ugly and hiding behind the wall. And it was like, no, I was talking about as a believer. I have hid behind the wall of grace. I've hid behind the wall of, God's favor. I hid behind the wall of him dying on the cross. So I'm just out here living life, not really living right. You know what I mean? But I'm hiding behind that wall. Like, if I just go to church on Sunday and I say sorry to God, it's cool. But yet I'm telling everybody else how they should be doing and what they should be doing and how they should be living. So you know what, God, you snuck right behind that wall. God, like, I see you back there not doing the right thing, but you trying to tell everybody else how to do the right thing. Come on from out of there. I still love you. I'm still good. I'm still gracious. That was the wall I was talking about, the wall that we as believers hide behind to condemn everybody else that's on the other side of it, the walls of the church, those four walls. So, like I said, all of those things were definitely written from those experiences and more. I think each song probably has multiple, meanings to it. Because multiple things were happening at the time. But yeah, definitely, they were, even the title, was definitely based on, my parents, and me trying to see what the cure was going to be for them. I didn't know what to pray. My father wanted to go for years. He was just like, God, just take me. He was so miserable, and he was just like, he would pray all the time. So to even see when he passed away that it was like, okay, well, God answered what he wanted. He was like, I just want to go to sleep and I don't want to wake up. And so that's what happened. He went into the hospital and, when I went, I was like, yeah, he's not going to make it. And maybe, he was in hospital probably for like a month, you know what I mean? And just resting. And my father looked better than he had looked in years when he passed away. So it was this peaceful transition where it wasn't like as sad, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, like I said, it was definitely a few years of like, what the heck is happening here? Why is this? What is this? It was like a cleansing that God was doing. But like I said, I'm thankful that it turned into a project, that's able to reach so many people.
You mentioned, I'm looking at the list and it says, you mentioned amazing, and it was something, something amazing, your fault, and all in all. And I'm like, just the titles, listening to the songs, it definitely, if someone listened to this, if they didn't even know God, it would be that conversation that you would have with him if this was your first time meeting him.
Yeah,
And it was the sincere as we come as to God as children, like children,
yeah,
to sit on his lap, to lay your head in his on his shoulders and his chest, just to hear his heartbeat. This is to me the personal. If I could have wrote this myself, these are some things that I would want to say to God Himself. And so I'm saying, if there's no one else in the world ever says anything to you about this album itself was self ministering to me.
thank you.
And I might have reached out from a clip that I saw, but it was more to it, to that and to this moment right now of getting to talk to a person that has endured some of the similar hurts and thoughts and feelings and things that I have encountered. And wherever God takes you, to the point of, traveling again, the tour, the virtual tour people are doing these days. I know that these songs will minister to the world. It's a need for it now. This is the season for it. Seriously. As much as the world is hurting, we need God.
Yeah, yeah.
Not just for money purposes, but of course, as the word says, your gifts will what?
Make room for you and bring you before great men.
There we go.
Absolutely.
And so I'm sure that with a shadow of a doubt in my mind, that this song will be probably one of the best albums that you've had,
Thank you.
because you are very honest with him.
Mhm.
You have been open with your feelings, open with the emotion of it all, the personal thoughts of what you've been through. It could have been another way, but he knew exactly what the world needed and what you needed. And so to be able to walk through this, still have a smile, still come out looking bold and boss like, is great. I didn't say, well, if you could do me a big favor before we get off, I know we didn't talk about this, but if you could sing one little snippet of something,
Let's see. Hmm.
or
Uh,
holy, however.
um, I'll do all in all. Um, Jesus is my all in all. And when I'm lonely, hurting, on him I can call. And I am confident that he will always show one thing I know is he'll be my all in all. Oh, my everything, my everything. Most times all I have, but always just what I need. My everything. Oh, my everything. One thing I know is he'll be my all in all.
Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. Hallelujah. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That is, my God. Um, I just lost my train of thought. I just keep hearing sometimes the strong, we bear the infirmities of the weak sometimes. And sometimes the strong needs the encouragement as well, because people think that we don't have days. As you said, we need time off, we need to shut it down. I just came back from basically a 2-week vacation from doing this and some other things, and I didn't realize that I needed it as much as I needed it. When you're always on a go, you're always helping people, you're always the call that everybody calls to. And sometimes you don't know how to say no. You're tired, you pushing on gas and fumes. And I was like, oh, I needed this and I didn't want to come back. And so I just wanted to tell you that make sure, even in this moment, that you take the time that is needed for yourself, for your family. I'm learning more and more that my first ministry is my home, my husband. And if I feel like he's lacking somewhere or lacking my attention, learn the lessons. Stop what you're doing, find out what's going on, take some time away, and you guys regroup again. You're still in the it doesn't even matter if it was your first year, your 25th year, it does not matter. It is still the same principle. So whatever your first ministry is, today I want you guys to love on your first ministry. It's not necessarily in the church, it's not necessarily your job, but your first ministry is yourself as well as the ones that you love. And so I do sing, but I ain't like you and all that good stuff. But I did want to sing one little snippet of a song to you, okay?
Yes, let me
You're
hear.
funny.
Oh.
Let's see. You are so beautiful to me. You are so beautiful to me. Can't you see? You're everything I hope for. You're everything I need. You are so beautiful. You are so beautiful. Latice, you are so beautiful to me.
Hey, girl. I gave you a drive. I was like,
this is so much fun. Oh my gosh.
thank you. Thank you so much for reaching out and just asking me to come on. I'm always honored when people are interested, in the music or interested in something I have to say or something I'm saying. So thank you so much just for reaching out. It's my pleasure to be here with you today and to talk and just, have this girlfriend moment.
That's what it feels like. Like I just met someone, you know how like you go to college and I've had so many friends are like that. That you sit down, you have those moments and they tell you about their dreams, they tell you what they're there for. And then years later, you find out, time has passed and you come back and you sit down and they're exactly what they said they were going to be. This is what this feels like. Like I met you in my college days and we're reuniting and saying, okay, yeah, these things happen in my life, but I'm here. I've survived it all. I've survived grief. It didn't take me out. COVID didn't take me out. All of these things that could have. Now, mind you, somebody could have, in the same shoes we were, went through the same thing we did, and they didn't make it.
Yep, yep, that's
So
true.
God still has the purpose. Hallelujah. Has the purpose for us in this season. Now that all our bad came through, all our grief came through, made us stronger. Now we have the responsibility to come back, reach back and get somebody and tell them that's why God made you a life coach. That's why he made you to write the things that you wrote, because now this message goes around the world that yeah, if I'm going through grief, I need a counselor. I need somebody to talk to. I need to take time out for myself. um I have these songs that are out in the atmosphere too. When I feel like I want to give up, Latice has shown that I can make it. I still have faith. I still have hope that God is who he is. And
Mhm.
so I'm here right now as a testament to the conclusion that God put us together for a reason. For this time, I had no clue, no idea, but God did. And so I just bless you in all your endeavors and everything that's going to happen for you. I'm looking forward to not just man's awards on the Stellars and all of that good stuff. I'm talking about the bigger picture. The people that are connected to you is going to make it because you made it.
Oh, thank you. Thank
So
you.
trust me again. I will see you again.
Oh, I believe it.
Maybe next time in person. But however,
Believe it.
we will definitely see each other again. And I love you from sister to sister. Keep doing
Thank
what
you.
you're doing because definitely I'm watching.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. And same for you. Like you said, this is not the last time. This is not going to even be the same platform. It's so much more and greater and bigger that's coming. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to saying, see, we said it. We said it.
Yes, and it's recorded too. That
Exactly.
we
So we
on
got
this
the proof.
day we said, and we gonna go back in. One day we'll be
Mhm.
sitting on the table drinking coffee, a cup or something, and saying, "Remember when we said."
That's,
And so I just thank you. I want you to enjoy the rest of your Saturday.
thank you.
And again, I'll be watching. I'll watch you on TikTok. I'll watch you on any platform that you on. Just know that I am here for you at any cost.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
You welcome. See you later.